hello everyone, it's day 16, oh no, it's day 17, and I'm bored of talking about the days which it is and the state of my treatment and the burns that I now have, which are new, and which I do have. So instead, we're going to do a little spontaneous Q&A. I don't quite know what the questions are yet, but I'm going to go upstairs and find out now. You like my slinky little walk? It's down to a new gimbal selfie that I've got. You know, small pleasures and all that. It's going to do the job nicely. Walking up the stairs to the office, and we're going to find out what questions we have. Well, hello. Fancy seeing you here. I'm going to take a look at these questions now. I hope they're all good for family viewing. There are children watching this. So, funniest thing Lana said lately? She said something today which caused the entire medical staff to burst out laughing while pointing in my direction. I didn't know what she said, but I think it was pretty funny. There was definitely a lot of pointing at me. I assume it's just because of how lucky she was to get me. So, in what year did the real Bluebirds form? Well, James asked this question because he's from Chippenham and I'm of a Cardiff persuasion. And my answer would be, it really depends, right? It depends on what your definition is. Is it from the moment that all birds evolved from dinosaurs, or is it when that particular species branched off? I don't know, but I'm going to say the 26th of September, 14 million years ago. My favourite Cymru goal? Well, I would love to say the penalty that Paul Bowden scored to send us to the World Cup in '93. But I was there that night, and I can still, to this day, hear the sound of that crossbar being rattled as the guy missed his first penalty in, his whole career. So my favourite? Maybe the first goal against Slovakia in Euro 2016. I was the sole Welshman, probably, in the city, and I was watching it at a roadside cafe that I used to frequent, and the goal scored, and it just... I ran down the street screaming with what seemed like half of Vietnam staring at me. And a lot of people said, why are you going so crazy? It's only a golden football game. Well, a couple of years later, I witnessed the entire country go mad at the exploits of an under-23 team in a regional tournament. So I guess we all had the last laugh. I don't know. Favourite dinosaur? Tough to choose, but I would have to say Denver. Denver, the last dinosaur. Why? Because he was my friend and a whole lot more. What's Jojo's favourite song? Well, I'm trying to move him on to opera, to be honest, and we're going to try and do Wagner's Ring Cycle next week. We've got a few steps to go before then. I've just weaned him off some of the sillier aspects of his youth. And right now we're on Yellow Submarine and Nelly the Elephant, which he likes a great deal and knows all the words to. I think we might try Ray Charles again soon. We liked that a lot when he was, just about alive. So when he starts liking that one, then I'll do all the singing and dancing motions, right? So Gareth asks a critical question: what exactly is scampi? It's a fair query. To be honest, Gareth, I find it best when trying to define what something is, and it's proving difficult, to maybe start with what something isn't. And to that end, I'd say what scampi isn't is Fatima Whitbread, quantum physics, and the golden age of steam locomotives. Hope that helps. Gareth follows up that humdinger by asking, will there ever be a boy born who can swim faster than a shark? Well, I don't know about that, Gareth, but I did see a story yesterday about a young lady in South Wales who had an IQ higher than Einstein and Hawking. And I thought to myself, yeah, but can she throw a shoe over a factory? Because that's the real intellectual test, isn't it? I guess we'll never know. Keris Pizanko, what made you move there, she says. Well, I've been here 7 years now, and I'm still trying to work that out, right? No, it's an amazing place to be. In Wales and the UK and possibly the rest of the West, I think there's an obsession with looking at yesterday as being the golden age, whereas here in the developing world, perhaps in general, but Vietnam certainly, there's a sense that tomorrow is going to be better, that the best is yet to come, that there is more and better around the corner. And that's something that, you know, I've definitely enjoyed. I mean, the people are great, the food is great, but it's that sense of optimism, I think, that's kept me here. And optimism is what I need right now, so I'm in a good place, right? Geraint asks, how fast is the fastest racing pigeon? Well, faster than the second fastest racing pigeon, but slower than my wit. Am I still a big bluebird fan? Well, Rodri, it's all about context, isn't it? I mean, I'm 6'2", and there's not many here in the city of 10 million that can say that. And I do know who the bluebirds are. So, in that sense, possibly. But I went home and away until the rebrand, which I could fill hours of video upon, but I won't do it today. But I still occasionally look out for their results, for sure. Powers, how much wood would a woodchuck chop if a woodchuck could chop wood? I don't know, but I know who would. Edward Woodward. Edward Woodward. Know that. Ask him. A couple of late arrivals on the question scene here. Daniel Cannon, if that is your real name, asks, is my mother an astronaut? Daniel, it's a great question. I can't answer that, but I do know that you are a bit of a space cadet. Also asks, do I think Dick Van Dyke would beat Kevin Webster in an arm wrestle? No question. No question. Unless the winner had to spend the night with Sally Webster, in which case he would forfeit. Shelley. She's not asking you. You're not asking you, Shelley. You're saying favourite quality street chocolate. There's no question mark on there. I'd expect this from a Murphy, but certainly not from you. Anyway, let's not pick favourites in this world. Let's all come together and enjoy things. Let's talk about quality street, not quality street. Or just give me one of those strawberry ones. Who let the dogs out? Jacob Rees-Mogg. I was shocked when I heard that as well. And one last question right at the bell. What are my favourite parts of living in Vietnam? We can point to the weather for sure, sometimes. Although I'm starting to miss seasons a little bit. You know, one thing that I think is really intoxicating about Vietnam and the language. There's no I in Vietnamese. Well, there is in the word Vietnamese. But when we engage people in Vietnamese, we don't describe ourselves as I and you. In fact, we have to give the person a good look before we address them. Because if they're older than us, they have to be called An or Chi or Chu or Ko. And if they're younger than us, they have to be called Em. And then you address yourself as an age-appropriate opposite. I think that speaks to the kind of sense of community that's in the culture. And it's definitely one of my favourite things about living here. But also what I said to Keris earlier about the optimism, that's certainly important, and the youth and the energy and the vitality and the forward motion, for sure. And the food, I can't lie. The food. Craig, this is the final one now, right? Craig asks, what's your earliest memory and why do you think that is? I know exactly what my earliest memory is, and that's listening to Uptown Girl in the back of the car with my mother and father. I don't know why it is, but I can still remember how the harmonies of that song made me feel. And I despise Billy Joel. I think he's a rotten songwriter. I don't know what he's like as a person, but I shan't imagine we'd be friends. But Uptown Girl, that song I find mesmerising. I found it mesmerising when I was, I think, 18 months or 2 in the back of the car singing along, hearing those harmonies go into forever. Still think it's magic, but why, I don't know. Alright, that was fun. Let's do this once a week. Another session for me tomorrow. It's also my boy's birthday this weekend, so it's going to be interesting. But I'll try and have a video and a hello along the way. But if you don't see me, and I don't see you, then have a good weekend.